Hi, I'm Joe. I'm Zach. Ready now.
Oh.
I'm Zach.
Nick.
Eric. Judah.
Okay, our school was a school for superheroes, and it was a school called School of the Gifted in the Sky.
That's not what it was
You
called.
use school.
We'll leave it at that. We'll leave it at that, and we'll move on. How about that?
It's something very
You're a
complicated.
liar.
We can't remember.
We made a
And
bunch
this
of words.
school is problem infested. I mean, it's got financial, social, and academic problems out the wazoo. Okay, and some like financial problems we were running into was like bad kids kept breaking into the school vault and taking all the money out.
They did.
It's a
Which
big
isn't right.
problem.
Yeah.
Okay, so we had our geniuses build, and by the way, there are super geniuses at our school. I
Yeah.
mean, children that are above anything that Einstein could even think of, you know?
Do that, bro.
And we made a power dampening field around the bank vault.
Yeah, we
Okay.
got them to build it for us for free.
Yeah, there's just
Credit.
a little extra credit. So,
They need that to pass.
so and
Put your
that,
hand down.
that solves
You have
that
a
solves that
question?
problem.
Yeah. Was Captain Hindsight included in this? Just to double check.
He's a
And
parent,
what
not a
was
student.
the other financial
The other
Oh,
financial
yeah, okay,
problem-
our other financial problem, I'll take this one, is that we depend on government grants that the government gives us every time we produce a successful superhero. We haven't been producing too many of those lately.
Are you
so-
cloning them?
No.
No, like,
Iron Man saves a lot of
every time
people.
one of our graduates goes on and becomes what the government defines as a successful superhero.
Gotcha.
Yeah, they
And
have
you
to
get-
meet their
you get a certain
quota.
amount of
They have to
money.
have a standard.
Save the world from aliens.
Yeah, and
So
send
get a check.
Yeah, so we haven't had too many of those lately. So our idea was to go to, where was it?
Asgard.
Asgard,
Go
the
to
place where Thor's from.
Yeah.
and
get
get
a
some
lot of-
foreign exchange students from there via the Rainbow Bridge.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was our idea.
We thought that if we got a couple of gods down here, we'd be pretty good to go.
Nice.
Get a couple of grants.
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
I have a
And then we had a few social problems
cheaper.
with
That was
kids,
free.
trouble kids, you know, like that. Well, just any
Loki.
super villain.
Yeah,
Okay.
Loki, Megamind.
Wait, what?
Megamind
No,
was
we had
supervillain.
problems with bullies. Like,
Yeah, but we're
I
talking
was
about the troubled
kids,
students,
man. That's the one right after that. Yeah. And the trouble kids, they go out and they become these really bad villains, and then they go to a different school for villains, and that's not what we want to do. That's not what we're about. So we created a counseling program, okay, with a few really skilled telepaths that work these students' issues out, and we get them on the right track. Okay, and that helps us produce more successful superheroes, and that gives us more
and
grants.
less people try and blow up the school.
Exactly. We have less.
And if you don't have
issues with
a bunch of villains, you don't have
Bunch of school blowing
a big problem at all. It's simple.
Yeah.
You just fight crime. Okay.
Okay,
It's
but
not
you
crime.
take the bullying.
Oh, the bullying one?
Bullying.
Yeah, the bully.
Okay. We had a problem with students that were better than other students, or students picking on students who hadn't had fully developed powers at this point. So to monitor that, every student at our school has a chip implanted in the back of their neck. And whenever they misbehave, they're turned to jello.
It's activated, and they're turned to Jello for an hour because no one's going to be afraid of a puddle of Jello on the floor. You know,
Unless you're
Jello.
It is illegal to eat the Jello.
yes, can't eat the Jello.
That'd be human flavored Jello. That'd be
We were
gross.
going to go
Jell-O
with takes
is the
away your
ultimate
powers, but then someone was like, let's throw in Jello.
I
Okay.
guess that was Zach.
And then we had a few academic problems.
Academic problems.
Academic problems, absolutely.
Now, do you remember the academic problems?
With all like the different powers, it's hard to develop a curriculum.
Exactly.
So we decided to make it a lot more one-on-one learning and design the curriculum based on each specific student.
Yeah.
And
Wait, so you have
yeah.
a 1-to-1 teacher-to-student ratio?
No,
Yeah,
no.
You see,
No, but
we have
small class.
we have like about a class about this size, but James is working on a different assignment than say Zach over here, based on their powers and how far they
And their ability.
And we also try and group the students based on their abilities
Similar
into
powers.
classrooms.
Yeah.
Now, for those students that don't fit in those particular settings, we let them work on their own thing in a supervised environment so that they don't destroy the school or anything.
Or,
Yeah.
determine evil and take over
Yeah.
the world.
Exactly.
Yeah, how do you deal with
Exactly.
these ethical issues? How do these? I mean, why are they all motivated to do good things?
Because they live in a great
Okay.
family.
Now we threw out that we were going to give incentives
I
for
started
students
doing
that
bad things.
do well in school
Right.
and that show good signs, and then we wouldn't punish, but we would keep the other students back, kind of like our next issue.
Our next
Yeah, next-
our next issue was teachers would push the graduates through based on mostly fear of the students, whether or not the students were ready for it. They would be afraid to basically hold the students back. So we decided to not have any age criteria, try to look past age at all times, and then to go to the next grade, you decide at the beginning of the year what benchmarks each individual student has to meet in
And the
order
prin-
to progress into the
And
next
the
grade.
principal and the government has
Construct
to
ELIs.
construct, organize, and decide on whether that student is developed enough to move on.
Kind of like
Exactly.
ELIs, but with
How
some
big is your
powers.
school?
It's a couple hundred students.
Yeah.
You
See,
don't accept a lot. It's not
If
like
you were to
it's-
put it back on the ground, because remember, it is in the sky, it would probably take over. It would
Probably be
probably,
like 2A.
yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
that's about it.
Do you have funding issues?
Funding
Problem.
issues.
Well,
Our
the
funding
government
issues are grants from the government.
School to the sky.
Yeah,
What?
That's super smart
How do you-
geniuses to create a perpetual interest.
Yeah. How do you deal with admissions?
Admission.
Admissions, like who gets in?
Yeah.
What's the criteria?
Okay.
No, nobody knows about it.
You know,
Well, actually, countries would pay to.
We have a special set of recruiters that go around and take students that exhibit extraordinary talents.
What are
For
they
ex-
looking for?
They're looking for someone who would be unstable in their normal environment, or someone who is bored or is above what the situations that they're in. So they take these students and they bring them to
We
our
also
school.
have flyers so that you can
Yeah.
just call this
I can't believe you're
booth and do
extraordinary.
it. And then they
Yeah.
do a test over the phone to see what kind of superpowers they have, and then you send your kid in to a recruiter,
Yeah,
and they
exactly.
see if they're worthy enough.
Oh, worthy, okay. So no tests or anything.
What? No, like some benchmark stuff. Like
Yeah, see,
can
because
be
if you're going into
crazy.
this school to learn how to use your powers, you don't have to have you don't have to be able to lift a car if you have super strength right off the bat.
Right.
Okay,
So they're looking for potential.
they're looking for
potential
potential.
superpowers.
Okay. So these kids might have problems.
They might.
Everyone has problems.
They might.
And that's why
But that's why we have our
therapists.
counseling programs so that we can work it out, and we have people that get inside their minds and can figure out the real issues. You know. What I'm
And no, Marcus, regular people can't go to this school.
No, that wasn't.
Regular.
You can't go either. No.
So you hire telepaths to read the students' minds?
No, not to read their minds, because technically it's not reading.
Help bring
It
out the
helps
problems.
bring out the problem so that they can figure out a new solution.
Yes.
They're lying.
Yeah.
Just do this, and they figure out who's lying.
So, wouldn't getting rid of the superheroes, the would-be superheroes that are going to be villains, harm mock things where their peers try to stop them? Isn't that kind of important in
I'm
development?
confused on what the question is.
Yeah, rephrase that question.
Okay.
I think I know what you're
Cool,
asking.
don't mess it up.
Yeah, we worked
So-
20 minutes.
You're trying to get rid of the students that are going to be go
No,
into
not
the
get
super-
rid of.
No,
Make
well,
sure
no,
that
it's changed.
Yeah, no, I
students
understand
have
what you're
their students have the option of either coming to our school or going to the crappy school of villains over wherever. All right, it's their choice. But we are trying to prevent them from going to that school and to come to our school for the greater good.
But wouldn't that also cause
But if there's
social
people like
structures
you
to
that like to make obstructions and other people's ideas, then yeah, there's always going to be a problem.
Okay, you're not even listening to my argument,
Yeah, you're just-
so you're just trying to disrupt me
What?
from even playing
What?
it.
Hey, go on.
I want to hear you. I'm interested. Go ahead.
Go on.
I-
So, alright. The first thing that I think of when it comes to superheroes is that superheroes stop supervillains. But some
Yeah.
superheroes may become evil. And it's another superhero's job to stop that superhero from becoming evil. So isn't it by you trying to prevent it, you're also harming the natural process of peers trying to stop peers?
By your logic, we should just let criminals have at it for the sake of policemen having their jobs.
That's
But can't
But
do
the
that.
difference is that you're advocating supervillains. I admit that yes, there needs to be some way to stop it, but by trying to stop it too early, you're also preventing them from good experience.
That's like saying.
So wait, you're saying that preventing supervillains from existing
No, I'm
is a
saying
bad
that
thing.
doing it by stepping in too early and trying to prevent it.
That's like saying that if you have a child and they want a cookie but you tell them no, and they try to steal that cookie and you tell them no again, you slap their hand, preventing that from at an early stage is going to make them want to become a super thief later in their life.
No, well, I'm saying
That was not a good analogy.
Awful analogy.
I was trying to think, I'm trying to understand what he's saying because
Basically, he's saying that we shouldn't try and prevent our kids from becoming criminals, because if they become criminals, then our cops can have more experience and be better cops.
you see that makes sense, but we don't want to have the villains there in the first place.
I know.
We're just the natural.
Yes, but if the villains
Humans-
don't exist, and
The human
superheroes can't get
condition is
experience.
to interrupt the natural balance of things. That's how it's been for years, and that's how it would be if there were superheroes, okay? So if you're going to have...
We should just get God.
well, now he broke the illusion. Now it's over. Might as well just pack it up and leave.
Okay, I got a question.
Yes.
What about the academic problems? How would you grade your students?
Good question. Thank you.
It's based on...
Success.
First of all, you have to. You can't just say, "Oh, this kid's got developed powers. He's good to go." Because what if he's mentally unsound? Okay, then you're not gonna put a mentally unsound kid out in the world that can blow up the world. Okay, that's not right.
Mentally sound kid who can blow up the world.
Yeah, that's the first. Exactly. Vegeta is the first person I thought of.
First person to blow up the world.
Okay, going on.
Okay. So you grade them on where they fall with their ethics and their morality, and then you take that and you apply to how they're progressing with their own power, their power-based
The
strength.
key is progression.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you started really low, then you should be able to continue to make good grades as long as you try and you progress reasonably well. You
So
know?
you're grading them on their growth
Yes.
progress, not
Yes.
Not
on
strict
some kind
A's.
of outside benchmark.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because all superheroes don't, or all potential superheroes don't enter the school as equal. You know.
So wait, they don't
Yeah.
have to do calculus homework or Spanish homework or any other?
Well, they still have their core curriculums that they got to figure out. Like they still have probably their English and their math. Because you
gotta
can't
learn
send
how to
out students out there without
think
being able to
superheroes would
speak or
speak.
being able to do math on a daily
Yeah.
basis. Because they have their
Captain
daily
America.
lives.
Trust me, you don't want the guys saving you from falling over a bridge
They can't
to
do
not be able to give you your change at a McDonald's restaurant. Okay, that's not how you want that to go down.
You know, you don't want to be
Our
like,
super geniuses, of course, are going to have more of an academic portion in their learning, but everyone receives schooling at our
Basic
school.
treatment.
That only makes sense.
Is there anything that you guys do at your school that is not ever done at a public school?
Have superheroes.
Fighting supervillains. Boom.
Superheroes do attack our schools.
Sports are a little different.
yes, sports are a little
Yeah.
different. Like,
Sports are
Think of Harry
mainly.
Potter.
Can you ever have you ever seen hockey without hockey pads being played in the sky before? I
Well,
don't think
because of the uneven
play
distribution
other
of
teams.
powers,
How do you play soccer in the sky?
you don't play regular sports. We have to create our own sports that don't require certain powers. Like if it was, you can't do track because the people who have super speed would win everything
Yeah,
and stuff
clearly.
like that.
So you have like a gifted superhero Olympics kind of thing?
But,
You know,
Yes.
actually, now that I think about it,
We
We-
have we have
old school
simple
championships.
games like capture the flag or stuff like that. that
And you have on teams,
Yeah.
and each team has students that have different powers to help that team succeed.
well, what about if students that had powers in specific areas couldn't play the sports that would cause them to be
Better?
advanced in comparison to other
Or just don't
students?
What
have any
if
sports
you had a
related to
special
a
division of
single
sport for the
attribute.
people
Yeah.
with?
I don't
Just
know.
have something that
Everyone would have an advantage. Like
Hide
team
and seek.
soccer,
Turn
if you had
invisible.
super strength, you have a big advantage. If you had speed, you have a big advantage.
Yeah.
If you were invisible, they might not even count you on the field. You just see like a ball floating. You know? But and if you're a super genius, you could probably figure out what the guy's gonna do next. You know.
Yeah.
So I think we should just have our own developed sports specifically for
Super
them.
sports.
Yep.
We can't face other teams. That's just unfair.
Super sports.
No, we'll just go down to Oklahoma and face all the Oklahoma teams. We'll kick their butt. It's okay.
Alright, anything else for your school you guys want to talk about?
I don't know. You guys have any more questions?
Marcus did it.
Yeah, Marcus is thinking about problems again.
Yeah, I was thinking about problems with the sports things, but it doesn't matter because you guys solved it.
Okay.
Oh, what about clubs and stuff like that?
Oh
Oh, we
yeah.
have clubs.
Certain powers, like
Do you have like a council, a high council of the superheroes?
See, the thing is, though,
The
why would you
Maximus
need
thing.
clubs? Because there's no other school like you.
Yeah, that's true. You're already.
Well, there's no other
Taking
school
out
like
people to say
Noble,
power.
but we got clubs.
What are you talking about?
There are plenty of other 5A regular people schools.
no, it's that. Like the telekinetic people will just be.
Yeah, they'd be able to move stuff around all day.
They help
That'd be
each
so
other
much
just-
fun.
But that's not really a club.
Yeah, they play
Yeah,
Jenga.
that
They
is.
would
don't have as
challenge
many
themselves by
clubs
playing
out-
Jenga, by moving their blocks with their minds only. All
Wait, do
right.
you actually have more than one superhero with the same capacity?
Yes.
Exactly.
So this is a possibility. This
Yes.
exists.
But
Of course it.
anyways, clubs aren't as prevalent because we have one designated hour where you're just with people who have similar powers, and then you do a bunch of club stuff. You
And
know.
Oh, what about clubs
And we
with
tried.
different
All the
variety of
invisible
different
kids just turn
powers, like
invisible.
just-
Where are they?
Like, give an example. Give an example.
Like Super Friends. You got different guys with different powers. Just
Well,
get
that's
clubs
just,
with-
that's just friends, man.
Yeah, you can
Chill
just
out.
you don't have to.
You're
have
around
your own
students
clubs
all
to
the
be friends.
time.
See, when our
If
students
you
hang out,
didn't
they
interact
become the
socially, you'd
Avengers.
be socially awkward, and you don't want a socially awkward superhero. That creates
problem. Yes.
Oh, that's a great character idea. Great character idea.
Yeah.
Socially awkward superhero. You can do amazing things, but you just can't ask out that girl.
That's the superpower he wishes he had. He has everything else except for that one.
Then
So he's gonna
they
block
swap.
them.
Oh god, this is funny.
I think we're good.
I think that might be it.
Yeah.
Is that it?
Got our evil people. We got our good people.
Yeah. All right, great. I'm not gonna clap.
You guys suck.
Ginger didn't do it.
He was in there.